eventually blow up. I'm switching lanes and sipping drink, the music up, my speakers bang.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of the Perspective Podcast. I'll go by the name of Mardy Lee. This is my co-host Tevin right here. Tevin, what's good? How you feeling today, bro?
Man, I'm good. Finals over, weekend about to start. I'm feeling good.
Juneteenth is upon us. Officially, Juneteenth is a national holiday now. One time for everybody at Juneteenth. You know what it is. Perk has a gender reveal coming up this weekend. But I'm also sad because the NBA season is now officially over. NBA season is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. Baseball stinks. Hockey, I might watch it just because, you know what I'm saying? It's just something. It's something on, but baseball stinks. I can't sit there and watch baseball all day long. Like,
can't tell you the last time I tuned in to a baseball game.
Exactly. Like even like World Series stuff like that. I didn't even check in for that. I can't even tell you who won the last 3 World Series. Even if you put $1,000 in front of me, like I won't be able to do it. But
Astros got one.
They cheated to get it, but they got it.
I think didn't the Angels win?
Angels stink, but I know Mike Trout, he's pretty good. I do know that.
Ohtani good. Maybe they didn't win. Maybe he just won MVP or something like that.
Yeah,
I think the Dodgers snuck one in.
Dodgers definitely got one. I do feel like, because I think that was the year they got Mookie Betts or something like that. Mookie Betts.
They won with him. So we said last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And I have no clue who won last year. That's a shame. I work at a sports goods store, and I don't know who won.
We come from the sports industry, have no clue about anything about baseball at all.
Oh, Braves
won?
Yeah,
Really?
Braves won last year because we couldn't find the merch. The Braves won last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, one time for baseball. One time. So anyway, the finals is over. The NBA season is now officially over. The Warriors are once again back on top of the basketball mountain. Warriors closed out the Boston Celtics in 6 games. The Warriors are now officially a dynasty at this point. They've been at 8 championships. No, let me back up. They've won 4 championships out of 8 years. So I
think 6, right?
Who knows? Who knows? But the Warriors are officially a dynasty. I mean, they got 4 championships in a pretty short span. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. So, I was about to bury Jason Tatum early, but I'm not going to do that just yet. But first, let's just start with the Warriors. How are you feeling about the Warriors, and what are you taking away from this championship right here that they just captured?
What I got was when we would look at it and break it down, they really was the same team from the other championship teams. We thought, but just because they didn't have Kevin Durant, we forgot how good they were before he got there. Like they had already won one before he got there. Now all of them was a little bit. Granted, everybody was a little younger. They probably had some more experienced and maybe even talented role players, but they was the same exact team with the same core, the same ball movement, the same shooters, same mismatch problems they present, pretty much same defense, same coach. Like they were the same exact team. So we shouldn't have been as surprised as we shouldn't have been as surprised that they did what they did. Granted, Clay was coming off them horrible injuries, so that's probably kind of why people was like on the iffy side with Golden State without KD. But apart from that, man, they the same team. You can tell that they have developed as far as individual basketball players. Like their skills have gone up. Like no matter how great the league has gotten over these past, I think it was 8 years, probably right, last 8 years, Golden State, the players individually have all develop their games to keep up with and even like surpass and excel the marks that they probably even set for themselves, because or people set the limits people set them, because like Steph has gotten stronger, He's become a even better ball handler. You can tell he's become more I think even more confident in his own game period. Clay, same way. He's not what he used to be, but I mean, come on, he's still deadly. He still can go off 30.
Yeah.
Draymond has somehow kept himself in a good enough shape to still be effective on both ends of the floor without scoring. Young Looney doing his thing, playing his role. They found a gym and pool, a guy from college who was pretty much just I'm a jacket up, I'm gonna get up these shots and whatever happened. But now they kind of, even though he's doing the same thing with Golden State,
by far he's got the worst handles like on the team by far.
They're the most he's the most loose with the basketball.
There you go. That's what he's
most loose. Yeah, he's gonna dribble it wide. He's gonna try to do 5 in and outs, cross behind the back, spins, all that. So, but his styles, it fits with them kind of, because they kind of need his looseness off the bench and his shooting. Like Wiggins has, I don't know if we can talk about him individually later, but I'm gonna give him his flowers now. Like he found his role.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant left, but they found a guy who came in and bought into the system. Like in Minnesota, they wanted him to be a number one. His personality and his talent probably can be a number one like option player, but his personality doesn't match that. So what they did was they gave him a role. They say, you come in, you play defense. We're not even worried about your offense. Give us all on your defense, and whatever you give us on offense, even though we know you can score, like that's just gonna be icing on top of the cake. That's just extra. So he came in, bought into his role, became one of the top perimeter defenders in the whole league, and he just did what they asked of him to do. So he bought in. He was probably the X factor apart from Steph, or why they won this championship.
Yep.
And they look like they're gonna be here to stay, because we forgot they ain't even played none of the young guys except Gary Payton and Poole. I'm the only, well, Lewin young too, but he's been in the league for a while. But Payton and Poole the only younger. Payton old too, but Poole is the only young person they really play. All those other 3 lottery picks they got just sitting on the bench, and we developing. And we already I've seen flashes from Kuminga. I think he got all-star potential.
Yeah.
So him, Moody, I don't know too much what his ceiling is, but I think he's still he's an NBA player. So he's gonna be around for.
He's a wing. If you can score and if you can defend, he can play.
Yeah, he's gonna be around for a while. And Wiseman, he got all the tools. We just gotta see if he can stay healthy so they can get it out of him. But kudos to Golden State on winning another ring without Kevin Durant helping y'all be impossible to beat.
4 chips. 4 chips in this short amount of span. It's really impressive. I believe it was 15. And it was well, they've just been winning championships. 4 chips in this short amount of time. Yeah. It's definitely impressive. Adding on to your point about what you said about Steph, how he's just worked on his body. If you go back and look at the finals from 19, whenever they lost to the Raptors, to present day, you see where he's definitely like built his body up. Like you say, he's more confident going to the rim. He's always been crafty. Him and Kyrie are by far the most skillful, smaller dudes that finish at the rim, no matter how they finish at the rim, without dunking and things of that nature, but just how they finish. Steph adding that mass to his body as he's able to finish like so much better, and he's just a whole lot more confident. Also, along with that, they changed out a lot of parts just over these years. It was Harrison Barnes, David West. Now it's Kevon Looney. Now it's Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? It's swapping out those pieces. Iguodala is still on this team, not in the same role, but more so as a mentor to the younger dudes, like you say, the Andrew Wiggins, the Looneys to an extent. He's really just been a really good coach. Well, he's essentially a coach. Like,
right, he's really a player coach. He's what Haslam wants to be.
Right when I was about to say, right when I was about
I thought I watched the game last night. Not that's the first thing that came to my head. I was like, exactly what
he's doing
exactly
what
Haslam wanted to do.
Exactly. Like Haslam is Udonis Haslam a hater? Is he a hater of Andre Iguodala?
He's a
Is
biter.
he a hater?
Is he a biter?
Is he a biter? Is he a hater? I think we just uncovered something here. Now, but yeah, Iguodala, he's definitely going to. I feel like he's going to be a coach. I really don't see him going anywhere else. I feel like because Mike Brown, he's leaving. He's got the Kings job. Kenny Atkins, he's leaving. He's about to be the Hornets head coach. So, I mean, I feel like Iguodala is just going to transition from that jersey to the suit on the bench. Well, the warm-up stuff on the bench that they wear now. And so I'm super impressed. And I'm happy the Warriors won. I had Warriors in 7, ended up being Warriors in 6. I should have saw the signs. I should have saw the signs on the wall, but I want to bury the Celtics so bad, but we're going to hold out a little longer. Were you surprised by anybody just kind of stepping up from this Warriors team? Because Clay wasn't necessarily himself. Draymond had pedestrian. He had a pretty pedestrian series for his standards, and we know Draymond impacts the game in different ways, not just scoring the ball. But any surprises from you from this Warriors team?
I guess the main thing was, especially in the finals, was like on the glass, like with Wiggins and Looney on the glass, because Wiggins had like 16 rebounds one game, another game like 13 rebounds.
Looney had a 20 rebound game.
For real?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, but I was just watch. I didn't know how many he had, but just watching, you can tell like, man, they're getting a lot of rebounds over Horford, Williams, Tatum, Brown, Grant Williams. I was like, wow. I'm like, they shouldn't be getting this many rebounds with the size that Boston got, but that just shows you the attention to detail, and that just shows you that they've been there before. They know what it takes. Well, and Wiggins ain't been there before, and Looney's been there, but Wiggins ain't. But he just did what they needed to do. I'm sure that was the emphasis for them, was to look, we smaller. We're gonna need to not let them get second chance points, because Williams and Horford should be killing them on the glass, and even Tatum and Brown should be down to get some of them rebounds. But yeah, so I was just impressed by how you saw a team that did the little things right, and you saw a team that did the little things wrong. You really saw a young team doing all the stuff that you not supposed to do. Yep. They were doing stuff to lose basketball games, opposed to Golden State. They was doing all the stuff that you need to do to win a basketball game. That's the biggest difference I saw. Besides, and then on top of my guy JT looking real bad them last 3 games.
I'm gonna save it because the Celtics they're part of the next block, if you will. But as far as the Warriors and surprises, I was overall surprised about the defense that Gary Payton plays. Now, should I be surprised? No. But the people that he was guarding and the height difference. And there was somebody that was someone along the Warriors. It was either like the staff or like the roster. They said that Gary Payton is the tallest 6'3" player ever, like, because he just plays bigger than what he is. He was locking up. He put Jason Tatum in a straitjacket. He gave Jaylen Brown some fits. And it's just interesting to see that. I was really surprised about how Andrew Wiggins, he stepped up. His play has continued to elevate. We spoke in a couple other pods, and just even in between time, how Jordan Poole, his play has kind of like decreased since that Memphis series. Everything up to that, he was doing a really good job filling in for Steph. They even kind of played the 3 together. Steph, Poole, Clay. They kind of played those 3 together, but I'm surprised by Andrew Wiggins. I really am. I loved everything that they did. And even I'll be honest here. There was a point early in the series where I was like, Draymond's going to cost them a game just due to his attitude. But he held it together. Like after they first went over to Boston, the Boston crowd, they were saying the things that they said, and I was like, Draymond's for sure gonna like blow a gasket. Like he's gonna like flash out on somebody, and it's gonna cost him a game. He held it together. So kudos to Draymond, teetering that line of aggressive and smart. You know what I mean? So he did a really good job with that. So and Steph, he has finally captured that Finals MVP that has been so elusive in his career so far. And now everybody's like, oh, well, now that Steph has the Finals MVP, he's definitely one of the best of all time.
He was already there before the Finals MVP.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should have won the first one. Still don't know how Iguodala stole that.
He literally.
Well, he didn't feel it. They gave it to him.
Literally gave it to Iguodala, like in which I still don't understand that.
Because a guy who was averaging 42 before he started starting games went down, dropped his average down to 35 or 36 once he started starting those last 3 games, I think.
Right.
3 or 4 games, yeah.
Literally. So Steph finally has this Finals MVP. I think that's it's a nice trophy to add to the trophy collection that he already has. But I mean, Steph is one of the all-time greats as is. Like it's nothing else that you have to really say or you can do to gas him anymore. Like he's one of the best of all time. He's one of the handful of people that's changed the game. Like it's not many people that's ever walked this planet that's changed the game of basketball. So, what are your thoughts about Steph and of course like the all time thing now, the narrative that's going
on? Like you said, this accolade the Finals MVP is just given. I guess it validates him for certain people in the media and stuff like that, and like other people, other fans or the game or whatever. But I was like, Steph been bad like this. Like y'all, like it's just the fact that he had to end up playing with Kevin Durant, and for three of his prime years. But before KD got there, he was the MVP. Then he said, okay, not only am I gonna be MVP, I'm gonna win the championship. Then the next year I come back. Oh, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna win Finals MVP. I mean, no, not Finals. I'm gonna be a unanimous regular season MVP. The only one ever. Not Michael Jordan, not Will Chamberlain, not Kobe,
not Shaq,
not LeBron, not even Kareem. Did you know Will averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds? He wasn't even unanimous MVP. Matter of fact, he didn't even win MVP that year. So that shows you what they think of Steph and how great he really is. And the fact that he has worked, I think it's a testament to him working on his game so much. Like he came in as a shooter, pretty much just a shooter. And then they were like, okay, he's a great shooter. Then he started putting it on the floor and like, oh, he can do a little bit. He got some nice handles. Start getting to the rim. They were like, oh, he got some nice finishes. But you didn't see all that. You didn't see the full package develop until later. Like he slowly started showing you, okay, once they started guarding him on 3-point line, then he started putting the ball on the floor. Once they started getting up to him, getting up in him while he was outside, he started going on the inside and start showing you all his finishes and stuff that he can do. And then people talk about his defense. Well, I mean, a lot of NBA players aren't great defenders. That's just because the offensive play, they so good offensively. Like it's hard to be a great defender. Like you got to be really elite at defense to be up there. But he put in the time to just, all right, I know I ain't great, but I'm gonna try my hardest. Yep. I'm gonna get these steals when I can get them. That's great defense. When I gotta guard somebody, I'm gonna try to move my feet. I'm gonna try to force them a certain way. I'm gonna put on some weight, try to get physical with them, and just use what I got. use my hands to get all those strips and steals and stuff like that, and that helped the team. So and then his unselfishness, like he really set the tone for the rest of the team. Like they go, I don't care what nobody say, they go how Steph go. If Steph out there putting them shots up and them hitting them deep threes and the crowd's going crazy or your crowd's getting quiet, that just get Draymond, that just get him talking, that get him getting on people's nerves, that get Clay hype. He started just somehow finding energy to run around screens and get open and start shooting his threes. And he just changed everything. Not just on the court, because he make you guard him wherever he is. And that just open up the flow. But off the court too, like you can tell Golden State is kind of like they're a family but they probably don't even hang out with each other like that outside of stuff. Because it look like you can tell they kind of probably into their own different stuff and they do their own little thing, but they know that once we step on this court, once we step on this court, it's us. Like we gonna do our thing, and then we can go over and we all go out to our own separate ways and do our own thing out in our own personal life. I don't think they hang together. So for him just to set that tone and that mindset for that team, I got him in. I ain't no official list yet, but I know, but he in my top 50. He is between 11 and 15 for me right now. He's one in between us and one.
Yeah, most definitely. Steph is up there. I mean, if you did not have Steph as one of your top 3 point guards prior to this, I think he's definitely up in there now. And I mean, really, just like them that's at that table, it's Magic, the Isaiah Thomas, not Isaiah Thomas number 2, but the Detroit Isaiah Thomas, and Steph Curry. So I mean, it's really just them there at the table from this point forward. One of the best of all time. A lot of people are saying, hey, we should just chisel out a 5th space for Mount Rushmore, basketball Mount Rushmore. Steph should be up there. Like I say, he's one of the ones that changed the game. So, I mean, he's up there for me. Like you say as well, I haven't made a list either, but Steph is up there. I also think that this is actually another start or another run, if you will, because they're, the Warriors, they're not old, but they have a really good veteran group, which is their core. Draymond, Clay, Steph. You might as well put Looney a part of their core as well, because he's been a part of pretty much every single championship run. To the point where you can just be like, hey, these dudes, they could do it again. They might have another 3-4 year window, because Steph is a shooter. It never goes away unless you have lower body injuries, like Klay Thompson has. That's why Klay has kind of lost his step just a bit. But aside from that, the Warriors, I think they still have another 3-4 year window. Now, will things and people change, and will some guys get moved out? I think so. You can definitely see from last year to this year that Draymond's lost a step or two. But he plays defense, and he's their defensive signal caller. So I think this is their window has been extended a bit. What do you think about their championship window for years to come?
Yeah, I mean the league's so good. It ain't gonna be easy, but they are so talented, and they have the skills to do it with their veteran, their core vets still have the skills to get it done. Plus, they're gonna once they add that youth, that's gonna bring a different element of like Golden State, because like we see them now, kind of relying a lot on the jump shot and like doing a lot of fundamentally sound things. But once they start adding that element of somebody getting out on a fast break, or just super athletic players being able to take somebody off the dribble and get to the rim, or when Wiseman comes back, like he's a real good post player. We haven't never seen Golden State really run an offense like set up around a guy. I mean, Durant to some extent, he will post up, he'll have his mid-range post ups and whatever, but not really run something off of a center that has a good, low post skills, and also can pass the basketball and even put it on the floor. Because I've watched a lot of Wiseman. Like I wanted him to be the first pick in that draft. I was like, I think he's the most talented player out of all of them. Like total package with his size and his shooting and his athleticism. I was like, I don't mind him being the first pick in the draft. So once they combine that with what they already have, like we plus like people like Poole and Wiggins might even get better because they still young. So we don't know what Golden State's potential really is. Like they can be another one or two championships can be in their near future. And all these other players that's waning out the league, they're trying to, get that last one, that last run. Golden State they might stop them from doing it.
Yeah, that's a fact. And Steph is now tied with Bron. Like, you know what I mean? For championships. And it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens and how the totem pole is remembered. Because, I mean, we went from Kobe and Shaq to the Spurs. They had the Spurs one there is kind of like in between, kind of like sprinkled in the early 2000s. Then it was Kobe with the Kobe and Powell years. The Celtics won that one championship with the original Big Three, which a lot of people don't want to talk about. They were the original Big Three. Then Bron, the Heat era, and now the Warriors. So it's just going to be interesting to see how post Kobe, this is going to be remembered, because it's really going to be remembered. I personally think it's going to be remembered as like Bron versus Curry. So, and somehow KD gets lost in the mix. You know what I'm saying? But you had to be there. I guess.
Right. For you to probably not even mention one of the 15 best players ever in a time span. I mean, he's gonna get mentioned, but he's not. If he don't win more or like get to more finals or something like that, he's not gonna be mentioned like how Kevin Durant, a talent player, is supposed to be mentioned just because of the dominance of LeBron and Steph.
Yeah, that's a fact. On to the Celtics. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first. This is Jason Tatum. He had an amazing playoff run. They swept Brooklyn. They got through Milwaukee, and they also got through the Miami Heat. I mean, the culture of the Miami Heat. if you
what is the culture? They don't have no culture. They had LeBron and they had Dwayne Wade. And now they got culture. How? You had two of the greatest players of all time on the same team.
On the same squad, literally. So Tatum's amazing playoff run ends here in the finals. He had a abysmal finals performance. Not efficient at all, but I'm a back off and I'm gonna let you go ahead and isolate that one for yourself first.
Yeah, I had Boston winning. I went with Boston in 6. I was looking real good after game 3. I was like, we gonna do it. What they gonna do? I'm gonna say they gonna do it. They gonna get this ring. Tatum is gonna have his first, and we're gonna be a start of something new. But unfortunately, Boston, I'm not going to say Boston lost this finals because Golden State had to do what they had to do to win it, but Boston did not give themselves the best chance to win post game 3. Like, even though they won, I think they barely, like game 1, they shouldn't have won. Game 3, they had to fight and claw to win that game. But
they gave game 5 away.
And this game, they got up early. They probably started feeling themselves. And Golden State just, steadied the course. Hawked them down, passed them up, and never looked back. I would say that we saw, not with just Tatum, but we saw flaws in the team, got exposed. But I honestly feel like those flaws should not have stopped them from should not have stopped them from being able to win this championship. And the main thing was all those the turnovers. It was things that I feel like they could have controlled. The turnovers, the careless passes, the dribbling in the traffic, the dribbling, the over dribbling. I'm like, man, they were making young basketball mistakes. And I guess maybe the pressure of the moment kind of, influenced some of their decision making. So they felt like they had to do more than what they felt like they had to do more. So there was more dribbling, trying to attack with 3 people in the lane, trying to make passes that if you make the easy pass, somebody else can make that pass. You don't have to be the guy to make the pass. And I feel like they were trying to do that sometimes. Tatum and Brown, for the most part. Smart, he had an up and down. He had an up and down series because it was times where he looked real good and times he looked real bad.
Really bad.
Horford went missing for a couple games, which I didn't expect him to be doing
X Factor.
Yeah, doing big work. I didn't expect too much from Al Horford in the first place. So what he gave you like in game 1 and the last game, like that was just super extra. Yeah. Big Rob did try to do what he did while he was kind of hobbled a little bit. Grant Williams, I
don't understand why he didn't get minutes.
Well, I think after like game 1, he got into a personal "it's me against Draymond" match. It's me against Draymond type of beef. And side note, Grant Williams, that's what he wanted you to do. Yeah, you watching the game, you saw his mind. Grant's mind was on. I'm here to rough up Draymond. Like, no, you here to play basketball. Like, we here to shoot these threes and and dunk this ball and win the game. But he had in his mind, I'm out here to show Draymond Green, I'm tougher. I'm a bully too. No, you first of all, you're not. Fake tough guy. So his game was off. Once Draymond got in his head, you seen it. Like last game, Draymond was all calm. The last couple of games, Draymond was calm. Like he was pretty much chilling, just hooping. But Grant was out there trying to do the most. He tried to do that the whole series. So Draymond knew he was like, yeah, I'm in his head already.
Definitely.
My boy Derek White had his one good game and he ain't have nothing left after that.
Missing in action.
My boy Pritchard, playoff P. I don't know what happened after game 3. Don't know what happened to him.
Scrub.
But they wasn't deep, so they had to rely a lot on their starters. But the fact Brown played I ain't gonna say great. He played very well, but his turnover was his downfall. But JT, I was kind of disappointed because I thought we was gonna get a more assertive, aggressive Jason Tatum, a guy who I was like, man, who I feel like can be one of the best players in the league, one of the 5 best players in the league.
Literally.
Once it all come together. But I don't know if he was nervous. I don't know if he got tired. I don't know. Something was off. I don't know if he quit. I don't want to say he quit. I don't know if
it looked like he checked out.
I don't know if the moment got too big for him. I think he kind of lost his confidence because he was missing a lot of shots. He was missing free throws. He was turning it over. He turned it over more than anybody else in playoff history as far as like over a total playoff span. Yeah. So I think he lost a lot of his confidence, and you saw it. He was just standing some of them places, just standing on the wing or in the corner, and just Brown was trying to just do everything one on one because he's like, hey, my dog, he ain't got it. Yeah, my dog, he checked out and he ain't got it right now. So I'm just trying to do something, but hopefully we can blame this on you because we all forget he's only 24.
Yep.
If he had went to college all 4 years, he would be a 2nd or 3rd year player. So let's not panic. Tatum, I believe in his work ethic because I've seen he's become a better basketball player every year. I believe he's gonna come back next year with a better, better game, better mindset. Mm-hmm. But shoot, it's gonna be rough for the Celtics though, because that boy Giannis coming back with and Middleton. Giannis gonna be back with his boy Middleton. You never know what the Nets can do with if them 3 ever get to play together. And if Harden get his act right with Embiid, you don't know what they got going on. So it's gonna be tough for Boston. I mean, this is their best chance, but hopefully we can just blame it on youth. But I want them to get one. I like Tatum and Brown. I want them to stay together. I want them to win a ring or two and ride it out like that in Boston.
I'm glad you took the high road because I'm about to bury Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum played absolutely abysmal. How you can't be. We all love and adore Kobe Bryant. Don't text Kobe no more, like at all. Like you shot 65% from the free throw line. You turned the ball over. You forced so many shots. You shot 36% from the field, not the three, the field. You averaged 21.5 points. Not enough, my boy. We need more from you. You know what I'm saying? And quit crying for calls. Please quit crying for calls. Please quit crying for calls. Like
the whole team.
They go as he goes. Like you said, they go as he goes. Stop crying for calls. He cries for calls. Marcus Smart flops. Jaylen Brown is forced to do it all on his own. Al Horford gave you everything that you needed to get past Giannis. So obviously, I understand why his check engine light is on. You know what I mean? Because
he been at least like 07, 08.
Exactly. Like Jason Tatum
in the 20s.
Be better, my boy. Be better. We expect more from you. You're at the current NBA top 10, top 15. You're in that group. You're in that group now. You're going to be guarded this way. You're not going to get all the calls. Anytime you go to the rim, you got to be able to initiate contact, not just
play through contact. Don't Euro step around it every time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then he had the old James Harden move where James would put the ball out. He would take the contact, things of that nature. Now, there were some questions post game, post game and everything. They were like, "Well, Jason, how is your shoulder?" and everything in between. I hope that now let me say this: if Jason Tatum played through an injury, and depending on the seriousness of said injury, of potential injury, I understand. It's shooting, but that doesn't excuse some of the other things that he did. Instead of forcing a lot of those shots that he did, pass the ball. It's so simple. Coach Ime Udoka's message was consistent throughout the entire playoffs. Making the simple basketball play. Sometimes the simple basketball play is just taking a double team, passing the ball around, or getting what we call, which I think the NBA should adopt, the hockey assist, where let's say I pass you the rock, you pass the rock to Harlan. Harlan open in the corner, he knocks it down. It's simple. It's simple plays. But he's young. He's 24 years old. He got to the finals. This is a trip. This is a trip. Hopefully it gets better. This is something to build on. It's gonna be a long summer. I'd say that much. This is gonna be a very long summer for Jason Tatum. Stay off the internet. Go spend time with your family. Go spend time, with your little one. Work on your game. Get healthy and get fresh legs. Because wasn't he? He was a part of the gold medal team, right?
Yep. He ain't sat down, and I don't know. He ain't really sat down in a minute.
So it's possible. It's possible he may be just kind of burnt out. But I mean, hey, in this particular series where we're talking about the NBA Finals, the championship, it looked, I would say, and especially in the second half of Game 6, I feel like he only took 4 shots, maybe.
Maybe that's what it felt like.
And that was abysmal. That's abysmal. If you're supposed to be him, and you're him on that team, you got to do more. You got to do more, at least to be able to get involved. Set some screens, pick and pop, pick and roll, do something. You got to be able to get others involved. Marcus Smart shot 43% from the field. Jason Brown shot 43% from the field. Marcus Smart shot 41% from 3. Now, I'll give Jason Tatum credit. He shot 45% from 3, but
shot more threes then.
Yeah, he should have shot more threes because obviously Andrew Wiggins put him in a complete straitjacket. And then Gary Payton II broke out the cuffs on him too. So, I mean, you can't sit there and let Gary Payton sit there and guard you like that. He had you in a straitjacket out on the wing. Wiggins shadowed him all over the floor. Now, whenever they put GP2 on him, take him to the block, take him to the post, initiate that contact, get those free throws going, get some rhythm, get some confidence. But
I did see him do that one time, and it turned out kind of exactly how I felt like it was gonna turn out. Like he got paid in the post. This was last game. I can't remember. They got it to him. He got paid in the post. They threw it down to him. And Draymond, as soon as he gets Draymond, know he done it. So as soon as he get it, Draymond goes to the double. Guess what happened? Just guess what happened.
Turnover, or he forced a shot.
He throws the ball right at Draymond's hands because he's trying to get it back to him. Draymond, man, start cutting. So he catches it. Draymond comes super fast. He's like, oh, shoot, let me hurry up and throw it to the cutter. Draymond tips it, turnover. I was like, I knew that was going to happen before it even happened. I was like, the move he should have did was got it, spent, went baseline. Because you know the hell, like, you think they're going to leave? You think Draymond Green going to leave you on the block with Gary Payton by yourself?
Not ever.
No, he's going to come. But even if he did come, if you want to make a pass, don't make it there because that's the pass he wants you to make. He wants you to make that quick pass. Either you fake it and wait, or you get it and dribble out, or get it and dribble out and pass it around, or you get it, spin, and go to the goal and try to finish. But I was like, as soon as he passed the ball down there, and I saw Draymond, I said, I know it's about to happen. Exactly how I thought it was going to happen. I was like, that's one of the little learning. That's one of the lessons he got to learn about, situations and stuff like that.
And it's so. I feel like Jason Tatum thrives on the block and on baseline. Like if you thrive on the block and on the baseline, like use that to your advantage because, like you say, it's so many other. You got other shooters. Al Horford should have kind of like he played on the perimeter for the most part of this series as well. So I mean, Jason Tatum, like work the block, bro. Work the block, work the baseline. Like he's amazing down there. But it is what it is. That's that. I'm done. Until next year, Jason Tatum. See you next year. Hopefully, get healthy, get some rest, spend time with your family. We'll see you again next year. 24 years old, still young, still got a ways to go. And Rob Williams just needed more help, like you say.
They ain't help my boy. I know he's gonna need some type of probably leg knee scope. He gonna need something. But man, they knew they had to. My boy was giving it all. Somebody should have came to them.
Now, just side note, because we don't even have this on the topic list. James Wiseman tore his meniscus. Robert Williams tore his meniscus. James Wiseman has been sitting for quite some time. So do you think it's just like a situation where Rob was like, well, championship was on the line. It's this late in the season. Maybe I should keep playing. Or do you think that this is kind of like the Celtics staff kind of doing what they did to Isaiah Thomas?
Well, number one, I think it's just how Rob made up. Like I think that's what he made up. Every time he get hurt, I think he wants to play. I think he want to play through it. Now they a little bit more cautious with him because they know he's very how can I say it? Not fragile, but he's more likely to get hurt than a regular player. Let's put it like that. So I think that's why he always want to play through it if you see him and see how he play. And also too, I think something that might be underlined that probably be in his head, well, in his own head. If you look at it from a business standpoint, Wiseman is a number one pick who has injuries versus a guy who I can't remember whether it was lottery or late first, wherever he was. He wasn't the top pick in the draft. So the likelihood of the number one pick getting another contract, even though they're injured and not playing, versus somebody who is playing but always get injured, like I think it's more likely Wiseman would get a second shot over Robert Williams just because on like that alone, and probably even potential wise, like Wiseman probably is can be the better gonna end up being the better player out of those two. So I think if you look at it like that, that's a reason for why he didn't play. But Wiseman said he could have played, but I think Golden State is also being extra cautious with him.
Yep.
Like, and then it's levels to meniscus injuries and blah 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 and all that. But that's I think at the end of the day, that's just how Rob made. He wanna hoop. That's the vibe I get from him. He wanna be out there trying to hoop, no matter what.
That's a fact. And so where you think the Celtics can improve as far as like roster construction going forward?
If they can somehow find a way to get Chris Paul to come there and play for like $12 million, that would be perfect. They need a. You don't need a point guard. You just need a facilitator, of somebody who can facilitate like effectively, like what Tatum did in the first game. They should have did more than that. Like they should have kept doing more of that. Like he don't have to bring the ball up every time because what first game he had 13, 14 assists, something like that, something ridiculous. Yep. He don't got to bring it down the court every time, but once it gets in the half court, give it to him, let him dribble, get on top of the key and let him, run the offense through him, kind of like a LeBron, kind of like sometimes with Giannis or sometimes with some of the other bigger guards. Like let them run the offense. He's capable of making a pass. He just got to get more comfortable doing it. So you don't necessarily need a point guard. You just need a playmaker and a facilitator. So they can keep that same thing and that same core, just change up some of how they play. But they're gonna have to get a backup big. They gotta find somebody that can score the ball off the bench on the wing. Because you take out Brown and Tatum, you relying on Neesmith, who probably played 3 minutes a game.
And Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard. I don't know what happened to Josh Richardson. Wasn't he on that team? Or did he get traded?
He is, for some reason I want to say that he's with the Mavs. Like I want to say that
he got traded with Schroeder, didn't
he? Yeah. So he's actually with the Rockets. That's where it's at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's the two main things I see. They need another wing player off the bench who can score, and get somebody else on that front line, somebody with some size that when Rob comes out, because I don't know how long Al got left, but that when Rob come out, you still got some size, because Grant played well this season. He did. And I think he can only improve, because I hated him coming out of Tennessee. I hated Grant Williams. My partner Kel, you always be like, bro, he do some good things out there. You just gotta watch him. And then I watched him, and then he started shooting threes. And I was like, okay, you can put him out there and be confident that he can give you a good 15 to 20 minutes, and not cause your team, not be a negative.
Yeah.
So that's the two areas, the two players three main areas I would look for.
And
for Boston.
That's pretty much it. And and if they can just, like you say, just develop a little bit more depth, get another scorer off the bench, get a legit six man. Get a legit six man, and they'll be all right. They need to be able to get somebody else that can really kind of back up Al Horford, along with Robert Williams, because I think in the coming years, with Al Horford being up in age as he is, that role actually might flip-flop that. Like Robert Williams may be starting I would say, if not next year, then maybe the year after that. Because to be honest with you, I see Al Horford retiring as a Celtic. Like I don't see him going anywhere else, to be honest with you. But they do need somebody else. I'm sitting here looking at basketballreference.com, and the C's, they realistically, they only played eight people. Right. Off the bench, it was Robert Williams, Grant Williams, and Peyton Pritchard. And if you noticed in Game 6, Coach Udoka had Peyton Pritchard out there in the first half, maybe even the first quarter. Didn't see him again. Did not see him anymore. Right. didn't see him again. So hopefully the Celtics, they can find somebody else that can kind of fill that space, if you will. And it's a handful of free agents this summer that are unrestricted player options and restricted free agents that they could go after and maybe be able to kind of plug those spots there. So as we go ahead and wrap up the finals here, the last topic that I really do have here is stars versus leaders. what is the difference between a leader and what is the difference in between a star?
Difference. I would say stars have all the skill. A star would have all the skill that's needed to be, to excel at playing basketball, to be a great basketball player. But a leader is someone who you can look to when everything ain't going wrong. You can look to this person because of the guidance that they're gonna give you, because of they're looking at the team as a total, as a whole. Like a leader knows where the weaknesses of the team is. They know what the strengths of the team is. They know the weaknesses and strengths of themselves. They are looking at it as a whole, and they're looking at the end game, not just like right now. They have the ability to pull stuff out of people that motivate or push. They know how to put buttons to push to get what out of each player. They know they set a standard.
Yeah, they do.
For themselves as well as everybody else. If you saying something but you ain't doing it, then and being in a management position, you know what's gonna happen. They just gonna start doing what you're doing. Oh, he said do this, but he don't do it. Well, I'm gonna do what he do. And then if he say something, then I'm just telling him I'm just doing what you're doing. Then what's the answer for that? So, but I think it also takes time to become a leader. You just don't, bam, I'm a leader. Like there's some type of learning that has to go on. Whether some people learn faster than others. But there's gonna be something that's going to challenge you, and it depends on like how you respond to that, whether or not you're ready to be that leader in that situation. Like that's like we can go back to, I would say, like when Kobe turned into a leader was like around like when Powell came, pretty much like you saw his attitude change. Like it wasn't more about me, it was more about us.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning it was about me. He was like, yeah, I want to win, but I want to be the reason why we gonna win. I want y'all to know it's because of me. Numbers. But then as he got older and saw like, man, once Shaq left, he was like, bro, we suck. He was like, I'm trying to get something out of these guys. I'm trying to will them to win, but I can only will them to the 7th seed. So then once he got a better player and Powell and like Odom, once he got them to come with him, he was like, okay, his attitude changed. It was more about what do we need to do in order to be successful. Like I know what I can do. I know what I'm good at. I know where I'm strong at. I know where I'm weak at. But I need to figure out y'all. So in order for us to be good, and for like if we are good, that validates me. I'm already validated, but I want us to be good so we can achieve the goal that we trying to get. And that's the main thing about, I think the main thing between those two is just that the leader has that ability to
bring everybody together.
Overcome, to bring them together, but also they know how to overcome adverse situations. Like they know how to execute in adverse situations. So that's all I got.
And I asked that because I think in the finals as well, it was evident that you can kind of tell, like the Warriors core, those are their leaders. And like I said, you include Iguodala. You saw Iguodala pull. He was pissed. He would be pissed at Andrew Wiggins at certain points on the floor, and he'd be like, "Yo, like, come holler at me real quick." You know what I mean? And it would be from the bench, from the sideline, whatever the case may be. He would say, "X, Y, Z, you should blah 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 be here when this happens," things of that nature, right? And you saw the instant turnaround, or the instant gratification, or the instant what's the word that I'm looking for? The instant correction, if you will.
Yeah.
So things of that nature. I think the Celtics, they're kind of missing that a little bit. And even on other teams, like Jimmy Butler is obviously their leader. You can look at the Heat as well. Well, the Heat with Jimmy Butler and also with the Heat, you can tell PJ Tucker is one of their leaders on that team. Other teams as well, just kind of going back in the past. Chris Paul is one of their leaders. Now, you can take that with a grain of salt, however that goes. However that goes, even with my squad, the Bulls, I think we're missing a leader, to be honest with you. I think DeMar is a leader. I think now that he's in Chicago, he has to be more vocal, because Zach isn't a leader. He's a star player.
Yeah. Nobody on that team says 2 words.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, and you don't necessarily have to be like the guy that's giving the fire motivational speech. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be that to be a leader. But as long as like you sit there and you say things, the room stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the mark of a leader. That's the sign of that. And also in the NBA, a lot of OGs are getting pushed out of the league because of roster construction, younger talent, things of that nature. Like, I think Draymond took a lot from David West. Like personally, I think that he listened to David West because David West was a part of those Hornets teams down with Chris Paul down in New Orleans that were successful. So, yeah. Of course, David West, and even whenever he was in Indiana, David West, he was a part of some important. He was a part of important teams.
Real good basketball team.
Exactly. So he earned his leadership stripes throughout the years. So that was just my opinion. I wanted your take on that one as well. So, and then as we go ahead and we're on the back end of the show here, we are officially in the off season. With the off season here, trade season is upon us, and it was actually kicked off by the Mavericks. The Mavs actually traded for Christian Wood of the Houston Rockets. So they gave Luka a little bit of help, but just before we actually just get into trade season and who is tradable, we got some free agent lists here, and you got that unrestricted list over there, right?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, go ahead and call up those unrestricted free agents that are marquee guys here.
Oh, we got Zach LaVine, we got Jalen Brunson, we got Jonas Valanciunas, Mitchell Robinson, and Gary Payton II for our top unrestricted free agents.
So that is unrestricted. The player option free agents this summer, we got Bradley Beal, John Wall, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Russell Westbrook. There's a little bit of chatter about James Harden saying that he is going to sign an extension with the Sixers, but it's not going to be a long-term deal. A lot of sites and sources, if you will, they're saying it's going to be a short-term deal. So that's kind of interesting to see what exactly James does with Philly. And as far as the restricted free agents, what we got?
Well, we only got 2 really. Well, the 2 main ones is probably number 1 is definitely Ayton. See what they're gonna do with him, and then also we got Miles Bridges from the Hornets.
Yeah, Miles actually turned down. The Hornets offered him a contract earlier in the season. They offered him $60 million. He turned it down.
Yeah, it was like 4 for $60, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he outplayed it. So I mean, it's
he getting close to 100.
Yeah, Miles gonna get paid. So as we move over in the trade season, this is a quality pool of free agents. Now, is it the LeBron James? Is it the Kevin Durant? Is it those guys? No, but these are some dudes that make a difference on teams. These are definitely a whole bunch of guys that make differences on teams. And as trade season is upon us as well, John Wall, John Collins, it's a lot of John Collins talk out there. Spider Mitchell, I think the Spider thing came out after we wrapped up the conference finals, whenever it was like, hey, the Knicks and the Heat are really like pursuing.
Yeah.
So that was something. Rudy Gobert is on this list, and he's been linked to the Chicago Bulls. I hope we don't do that. I hope we really do not do that. It would benefit us.
Sound about right. Sound like a Chicago Bulls type move.
It definitely does. I thought we were past this with the new regime, but evidently not. So Rudy Gobert, Jeremy Grant, and D'Lo Russell about the Wolves. That's something that's come about as of late because evidently he's fallen out of favor with like the coaching staff and the front office. So, but that's going to be interesting because Karl Anthony Towns,
that's like, his boy, ain't it?
Yeah, that's his man's, and so that's going to be interesting to see what they do with D'Lo and how Karl reacts to that. But I guess it's not enough basketball to go around in Minnesota, but evidently it's enough basketball to go around in other places. But any thoughts about trade season or any of the top free agents or where they could land? Any speculation on your side?
Well, I read something. I saw that they said that the Bulls are gonna offer LaVine a max. I think I saw that somewhere. I saw Mitchell. He was involved in a couple potential trades. He was involved in. I want to say maybe just an Indiana swap with Miles Turner, and I forgot the other team that he was linked to. Who else I on this list? Bradley Beal, they've been talking about him forever, so I really don't know what the situation is, because now he says winning is important, and you're not gonna win nothing in Washington at all, especially with Trez doing what he's doing, especially with what he got going on in the offseason.
Crazy.
He's
listening to way too much ESTG. Like,
I don't know what he got
Trez is wild.
No, I'm not gonna go on Trez. The bag food for thought, when the bag's in your hand, don't drop it. When you have the bag, when you have it in your hand, don't let it go.
Dumb stuff, bro. Dumb stuff. You don't have to be doing that.
You don't. You got premium. You got Kobe. Just say you got a steak. This is Kobe beef steak on your plate. Why are you reaching for the Texas Roadhouse pulled pork? Yeah. You looking for pulled pork when you got Kobe beef right here on your plate. But yeah, don't drop the bag when you got it in your hand, people. Thanks. Who else I'm about to start getting on people now. He done made me mad. John Wall, you might need to retire because we don't know what's your game like after 4 years of sitting on the bench. Literally. Harden, you need to get it together. You was out of shape. Him and Embiid can't win a championship if he get his act together by him. If he just get right, they can win a championship. Literally. Who else we got on this list? Kyrie, stay where you at. Hopefully Ben comes back and all is well. I want to see this squad.
Ben had his back procedure, and evidently it went really well. So he's, I think they said July 10th, July 8th, he's supposed to be able to still on basketball activities.
Okay, because he need to be playing a couple of preseason games. I want to see them together. I want to see those three play together so it can be real interesting. Russ, you're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to. You might need to come off the bench, buddy. You can still do Russ stuff, but you just can't do it while LeBron on the court because they play exactly the same. Unless one of them gonna change the game. Aiden, Phoenix will be. Aiden is the most is interesting because he's so young. We see the potential, especially offensively. Defensively, he has
work. He's work.
Yeah, he needs work, but I think maybe just because he's tall, I overrate him as a defender right now. Yeah. So he needs some work defensively. But the Suns, they gonna have to make that decision. Like, do we go? Are we gonna build around Booker and Ayton and Bridges? Are we gonna put 40 million in the Booker? Are we gonna put 35, 40 million in the Ayton? Are we gonna put the 25, 30 million in Bridges? Like, are they gonna be our three core guys for the future? Like, for the near future? Like, that's the decision they gotta make. But I've heard that their owner isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, so they might be back. So I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix is back to mediocrity and within like 2 or 3 years, and Devin Booker is like, "What the heck just happened?"
Mhm.
And he looking for a way out. John Collins, go ahead and get traded back to the team that was supposed to draft you. Don't like, come on, bro. Like, we were so bad in that draft. Spider,
Yeah.
go where you want to go. Leave Rudy behind. Y'all know y'all don't like each other, or y'all know they know they don't play well with each other. I don't know if they don't like each other, but they know they're not a good. They don't get them. They're not a good tandem. Like
They
don't
hit
get
their
along.
ceiling. They hit their ceiling.
Yeah. So one of them got to go for sure.
Facts.
So one of them gonna need to make a decision. And D'Lo Russell.
I mean that actually may be the point guard that the Celtics may need.
Who?
You don't have to. You never know.
Who?
D'Lo. He don't have to go over there and score 20. He don't have to go over there and score 20.
But that's what he's gonna try to do. That's what he does everywhere. You know that, right? No matter who on the team, didn't he play with Kobe Bryant?
He was a part of Kobe's last.
And he tried to lead the team in scoring. So I don't no. He needs to be on the team. He needs to be on the Knicks. He needs to be on the what's another team? He needs to be on the Knicks. He needs to be on the not the Thunder. What's another team that's kind of bad? He might need to start over in Utah. I heard they say Utah's a nice place. They say people be vouching for Utah. So maybe he needs to go to the Jazz, help them start over. He can be the man.
You know
who else gonna shoot them shots?
You know what?
Besides Clarkson.
You know what? Let's take a look at the Pacers here real quick. They've got Halliburton, they got Malcolm Brogdon, they got Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't the Celtics be trying to get Malcolm Brogdon when he'd be a quality fit?
If he's available, but he'd be getting hurt too, though.
Yeah. That's an individual thing. That's an individual thing. So I mean, he gonna have to work his way. But I mean, I think that would be a good piece.
Any team could use a Malcolm Brogdon. Like a team that the Lakers definitely would. Boy, they would trade Russell with so fast for Malcolm Brogdon. But I think I ran through the list. I think I touched on kind of everybody. Jonas, he's in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. They definitely need him back. They need him back. Look, and I'll say this here real quick. Zion, Jonas, Brandon Ingram, Jackson Hayes. The Pelicans, they should be able to lead the league in rebounds next year. They should be able to lead the league in rebounding next year. Like that's just my personal opinion. But go ahead.
The only thing that concerns me about that one is how do the Pelicans do they want to play fast or do they want to play slow? Because Jonas is gonna slow them down, and they got a lot of young legs, so that's gonna be something they're gonna have to look into. Because Jackson not no poster big either,
right?
So, and do they want to pay him what he probably can garner on the market? Because Valanciunas been averaging like 15 and 13 for the last like 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna demand a nice little payday, and I don't know if New Orleans they gotta pay. They gonna have to pay Zion if he come back and show them anything. They gotta throw the bag at him. So
and he's actually up for his rookie extension, which is like $185 million.
Right. So
but that's bottom dollar, and if he gets top dollar, it can only go up with those incentives.
Like
All-Star team, All NBA team, things of that nature.
So that's a tough one. And then, I'm touching on all of them. So the last one, Jalen Brunson. I don't think he'll be back in Dallas. I don't think they're gonna spend that money to keep him, because he's gonna be asking he's gonna be around that $30 million a year range. And man, that's a lot for a guy, for somebody that at best ain't not even he's not an all-star, he's a very good player, but if Jalen Brunson not on your roster and you have somebody else, I mean, I think you can make it work. But somebody gonna
I
give.
think so too. Somebody's gonna pay him.
One of them teams with no point guard gonna probably offer him more money, and I think he probably take it because I think he deserves it. Honestly, he worked for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got for all the free agents and trade stuff.
As far as the name that really just absolutely just jumps out to me is John Collins in particular. I wouldn't be mad at it if us in Chicago, if we made some type of move for John Collins. Now,
y'all can't have. He will be a Portland Trailblazer. He will be where he was supposed to be in the first place. Sorry, y'all saw my setup. Knock my camera down. I got in a kind of passion.
I got passion there. Or I mean, I always said in the same breath, in the same draft where we drafted Wendell Carter, I was a big Miles Bridges advocate. I felt like we should have took Miles at that particular point in time. Miles is undersized for a 4, but super athletic, plays above the rim. I love Miles. I love Miles Bridges, to be honest with you. So will we pay him and Zach in the same summer? I highly doubt it, but to be determined. So John Collins would be the one that really just sticks out to me so far on this list because we can't really do too much else with anybody else really here on this list.
Oh, my bad. Christian Wood. How the heck you get a player that average 20 points a game 1 year for players that don't even play? Everybody they traded him for don't even get no playing time. I was like, bro, that Mark Cuban came up. I don't know what his contract looked like, but at talent, like skill wise, that's a steal. You get a starting player or a 6-man for people that don't play at all. That was a steal.
Literally, they got away with that one.
Stretch big. What Luka really needs.
That's a fact. And on to the draft. The draft is June 23rd. The top 10 order, it goes as the Magic, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Kings, the Pistons, Pacers, Blazers, Pelicans, Spurs, and Wizards. Any thoughts there on the draft here at the moment?
Man, those first 5 picks gonna be real. Those first 5-6 picks gonna be real interesting because the talent is it's a lot of talent, and they're comparable talent. Like nobody's really, I would say, head and shoulders above anybody else. Mm-hmm. So the Magic, they get first dibs, so they gotta hopefully they pick right.
Yeah.
Because you look at their roster, they need a lot. They need some front court scoring. They need some perimeter scoring, really. So do you take Jabari, who can kind of be a 3? Do you take Paolo, who can even though he's a 4, he can step out and shoot?
Yep.
Do you surprise people and take one of the point guards? I don't know how they really feel about Cole Anthony. Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 players that I wouldn't be shocked if they the number 1 pick. Although, I would say Banchero is probably the most NBA ready as far as body type, as far as skill. I would say he probably number 1, and after that I would go to Jabari and Ivy, the point guard.
Yeah,
for Purdue. And then also the sleeper is the guy, I think Sharp from Kentucky, the one that didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't get no pizza. He was hurt or something like that.
People say he be
ineligible.
Yeah, something like that. But they say he put in work. They say if he would have played, that was for sure, probably top 5. So he's gonna be interesting because he's still in there. But I think we're gonna get a nice new influx of talent this year. And these teams, all of them, even though they got high draft picks, if you look at their roster on paper, they are talented. The Magic, they got if John Isaac comes back from that injury, I don't know how good he can be. I like him as a basketball player. They got him. They got
I call that
Cole.
As a basketball player. Mm-hmm.
They got Cole. You caught that, huh? They got Cole. I think they got both. They got one of those other tall kids too. Is it Bobo? I think he on the roster too.
And Mo Bamba is actually going to be a free agent as well.
It's one of Mo Bamba. That's who they got. I knew.
And Gary Harris is a free agent this year too. I forgot to put him on the list. All right, and he's coming up.
You didn't forget. You were. No disrespect to Gary Harris, but he's where he belongs. I ain't seen nothing since Michigan State. I had high hopes for him too. Okay, see, they got Shea, who they got Shea, who Dana is like a what? He's probably all NBA third team guard. They got him. Don't know what's gonna happen with that. They got the other Giddy. They got Giddy.
Mm-hmm.
So they got those two that they can build around.
I think that's where Chet is going to end up going. Chet Holmgren, even though I'm not sold on him, I think he's going to go to the Thunder.
I can see it. Like he's probably what they need. They need a big. They ain't got no real. They big, terrible. Houston, they got Green and Porter, so they need some size up front. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with either Smith or Chet or Payola, whoever there. Kings, Davion, they got Fox, they got Sabonis. So they got a nice. That's a nice three, and you add somebody else to that. You add another wing or a guy with some size to that, or shoot, who knows? You add another guard and just go super strong with two guards, and then bring Davion off the bench and let him play his 25-30 minutes with just defense and energy.
Yep. It's a spot for you in the league if you do that.
Right, and then the Pistons, well, they got Cade and Sadiq. They scored, didn't he score 50 or something like that? 40, 50?
I can't even tell you.
He had a game when he scored like 4. I think it was 50, but I know he scored 40 for sure. So, he can be a spot up shooter, or he can be a better version of Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
Pacers, they got Halliburton and Hield and Brogdon, like we talked about earlier. I like their little core, and then we get to the team like the Blazers, who just blew it all up. So and we might be starting over from scratch. So this is one of the first drafts I feel like in a couple of years that I'm going to actually sit and watch, like to see where those lottery picks go and how that shapes up and what trades might happen or what. Because you never know. It's a lot of talent. So a lot of trades, big time trades involve some of the people we were talking about earlier, Kevin.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as outside of the top guys there, Ivy from Purdue, Chet Holmgren, because it's just been so much gas behind Chet since he was a sophomore, junior in high school. There's been a lot of gas behind him. But if you ask me, I see a lot of Porzingis, and obviously Porzingis' body isn't holding up, and Chet is maybe the American version of that. Exactly. So, Chet, Ivy, your boy from Duke, Big Five, or Payola.
Or the I don't know how to say his name. I call him Payola.
Yeah, that's why I say your boy from Duke. You know what I mean? And then Smith from Auburn. So I mean, those are really the guys that I know. I didn't tune into much college basketball this year, so that's why I leaned on you for that one. So that's when that one is.
Everybody you named is everybody I named except the guy from Kentucky, the little point guard, the little guard they got. But everybody else, that's it. That's all I know. That's
really it. And then on the quick hits. So on the quick hits. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, this upcoming Sunday is Juneteenth. For the first time in America, it's actually being celebrated as a national holiday. So once again, thank you to everybody in our history that went through everything that you went through in order for us to get here. Even though we're free-ish, we're not totally free. There's some things that we still could use as Black Americans here in America to equal out. Well, in order for everybody to be equal. So those are my thoughts on Juneteenth. Any thoughts on Juneteenth?
I would just say, thanks to everybody who came before us, who went through some stuff that we couldn't even imagine. And hopefully people just take this holiday every year, well, especially this holiday, and just learn more about their history, where they come from, and some of the things that we have accomplished here as African Blacks in America.
That's fact.
So, that's all.
That's fact. And also, Brittany Griner. We actually forgot to mention this in some of the previous shows as well. Brittany Griner is still locked up overseas in Russia. As of today, it is 120 days counting that she has been locked up. hopefully now that the NBA season is over, the NBA guys, the prominent NBA guys can start using their voices a bit more and try and push so we can get Brittany Griner up out of there. Now, should she have gone overseas or had possession of whatever she had possession of? No, but let's try and do a little bit more so we can get Brittany Griner up out of there. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if this was, God forbid, you know what I'm saying? If this was, let's just say, Tom Brady, exactly. If this was Tom Brady, if this was Andrew Luck, if this was Peyton Manning, say it. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it.
If this was Tom Brady, I'm saying this as a Saints fan, lock him up, throw away the key. We don't want to see him give him all the time, give him what he deserves. He shouldn't have did that. Give him all the time, Russia. Harshest penalty y'all got for whatever that charge is.
For possession. Right. So, but in all seriousness, let's I hope the American government does a bit more so we can go ahead and do what we got to do so we can get Brittany Griner up out of there. And also in other WNBA news as well, Sue Bird, the GOAT, the legend, one of the GOATs rather, for sure, she's getting ready to retire after this upcoming season. She has 2 NCAA championships, 4 WNBA titles, and 5 gold medals. At any level of sports, that's a hell of an accomplishment. The list is strong. So thank you, Sue Bird, for everything that you've done for the ladies' game, for pushing the game forward. I feel like she's going to go into TV or something like that going forward. So one time for Sue Bird. One time.
Oh, yeah. And on Sue Bird, little fact, she was so good. She was one of the first women that I actually was watching. And when I was playing basketball, I was like, man, I would say I learned playing some of my best point guard from her, because I was watching her, she would make some of the passes I liked. I was like, oh, she saw that, no look passes. She no look passes. She ran a team. She could score when she had to. She controlled the game. I would compare her, if you compare her to an NBA player, I would say she was pretty much their Chris Paul.
Yeah.
She was pretty much, games were pretty much the same. They controlled it. They played on both ends of the floor. The passes they made, they were always looking for somebody else to shine. But when it was time for them to be called upon, they step up to the plate. So Sue Bird, thank you for all that you've done for women's basketball, and also for whatever the heck I took from you and put in my game the little time that I did play.
Big facts. And then just on the back end, NBA news here. Quinn Snyder of the Utah Jazz, he has officially stepped down as head coach of the Jazz, which puts Spider's future in question. He had a couple tweets or a couple back channel messages to the other upper management. And I think if that message, I mean, we don't know what the message exactly was, but hey, we're here to do a podcast and I'm here to speculate and make assumptions. Spider was kind of like, so it's either Rudy or me. Y'all can pick, but hey, I don't mind being out the door. If y'all want to pick Rudy, I'm cool.
I'm cool. If I want to pick him, I mean, I want to stay. If y'all want him, then I mean, I ain't gonna be mad.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? So, any thoughts on Quinn Snyder on any of his next moves, or you think he's gonna just kind of take a couple years off and then get back to it?
Oh no, he's not taking no years off. I think Jordan kind of rushed his decision. I would have loved to see him probably in Charlotte. Because Kenny, I mean, yeah, he did have a decent little year or two with the Nets. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know. But I would have probably, if I was Mike, I probably would have picked up Quinn just because of the experience and, the success they had in freaking Utah. He had successful teams in Utah. So, he's not gonna be. I don't know. I can't think of no team with openings, coaching openings on the market right now. I'm trying to look at some of these bad teams. Unless, do you know any?
I think the only teams that still have openings is actually the Lakers already filled their space. I think
who's getting D'Antoni interview with he did the
He was
interview
with the Hornets. Yeah, he was with the Hornets as well.
Oh man, I can't think of no teams with no openers, but he whoever got an opening, he gonna probably be the first person they call. And I think he gonna, take one of them openers.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean Utah, time to just time to start over.
Pack it up.
You're back to those pre-Malone and Stockton days, which I don't think probably was too good for him.
Well, I mean, they should still give that name back to New Orleans, but that's neither here nor there. The Lakers also found that Lakers got a head coach. They hired Darvin Ham, former player of the Pistons. He's also bringing in Rasheed Wallace, so that's going to be an interesting locker room. You've got Rasheed, you've got Russ, you've got Bron, you've got AD. That's going to be a very, very interesting locker room.
Got Dwight playing around.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I would just love to be a fly on the wall to hear what Rasheed Wallace has to say directly to Anthony Davis. So, but this is about Darvin Ham. Shout out to Darvin Ham getting that gig. Hopefully it's a lot of pressure with that job too. These are the Lakers we're talking about. I figured Quinn Snyder would have went. I figured the Lakers would have ended up with Quinn Snyder, but how they handled that whole Frank Vogel thing, that was nasty. So I understand why he turned the Lakers job down.
Yeah. I mean, I like the hire because, I like I don't know about Darvin as a coach, but I like what I heard from him at the press conference. I mean, that's all I can go off of, is that he sounds like a guy who is going to hold people accountable. Mm-hmm. Something that a lot of coaches honestly are afraid to do with certain players of certain stature, especially because if he got to hold LeBron accountable.
Yeah.
For whatever, no matter how old, he's still gonna have to. That's the number one person. You hold him accountable, then everybody else got to follow in line. So whatever he holds LeBron accountable for, that's what that's gonna set the standard for everybody else. So if he's not getting on LeBron for turnovers, he better not be getting on Russ for turnovers. If he's not getting on LeBron for not playing defense, he better not say a word to AD. So, but he sounds like a guy. I'm gonna emphasize it. Sounds like a guy that's going to hold them accountable for their mishaps. And I believe that's one of the main things they were missing last year is Frankie V. Well, if you call your coach Frankie V, then that's already it.
Just not good.
Frank. When you're on a first name basis with your coach, then that ain't too good. That's usually not too good. Okay. So I think they wouldn't hold certain play. I don't think they were holding them accountable at all times. There needs to be a level of every game. This is what I expect from you at bare minimum. This is what I expect. And if you don't reach those expectations, you need to come over here and sit with me, or either you're gonna get your act together and do what's required. You're gonna be sitting over here with me on this bench, or you're gonna be out there on the job market. So it's only three things. There's gonna be one of them three, and I think that's what they're missing last year. Darvin, again, I'll say that sounds like what he said he's gonna do. He told Rush, "Hey, we had this conversation. He gonna about buying into what we got for the team. Hopefully, he had that same conversation with everybody, and not just Russ, because he's not the only guy on the team. You know that one guy don't make a team. So hopefully he has that with everybody. But I'm just glad to see the Lakers finally, going back to giving another black coach a chance. They've only had probably three since before Pat Riley, since Magic Johnson. They had they had Magic for a couple games. They had Byron Scott for a little while. They had your boy Mike Brown for a year or two, and now we're back. Now we're with Darvin Ham. Yep. And that's also a good look on the NBA because that hire makes half of the coaching jobs be filled with
black coaches.
So shout out to the NBA for doing their thing on the hiring part, and them And once LeBron retired, they'll let us get another black owner with that new team in Vegas or Seattle, wherever the heck it's going to be popping at.
Fact. That's a fact. And last but not least, NBA Summer League that kicks off July 7th. It is July 7th through July 17th. Also, NBA free agency starts on June 30th. So basketball never stops. It never stops. Never stops. So trade season is upon us. Free agency will be here shortly. It'll be here sooner than you know, because we're about 2.5 weeks out. If maybe less. So that concludes this episode of the Perspective Podcast. That is a wrap for this one. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody that's tuned in, you are the greatest humans on this planet. I promise you are. And just be a friend. Share it with a friend. And until next time, y'all,